I've been thinking since I started Mounjaro that my fat loss stalled because I was eating too much. But that isn't why it stalled. What it all boils down to is something that very rarely gets explained enough or properly. And it's how insulin and your liver work together. And this is something that I wanted to research further after last week when we talked about the liver and how it deals with alcohol. But I wanted to look into it a little bit further because I felt there was a bit more explaining to do, and there is, so I want to share it with you. So if you feel that you're doing everything right, but you're not getting the results that you want, or you're not seeing the results that you want, then this video will really click for you. This week felt exactly how I thought it would, in a good way. And because of this, I wanted to put into practice what I'd learned last week and see if it translated into this week. And later on in the video, we are going to find that out when I step on the scale. I've not done that yet, so I am interested to see that if my theory is correct. But as regards the insulin side of things, this may help you also, because it's all right just stopping alcohol. But if you're still snacking, and more importantly, having sugary foods, that can also be a reason or an indicator as to why you're not having the progress that you're feeling, even though your calorie deficit may be quite large. Because of this research, it has helped me understand a lot more, and I really want to share it with you all. So I'm just checking my notes. So if I do look down, it's because I'm just checking the notes that I've made, because when you go into insulin and all these different things, it can get very technical and medically. And I don't want to bore you with all that. So I want to make it very simple so even I can understand it and relay that information to you. Insulin is a signal, and it signals to the body that if you have high insulin levels, that means that you are going to store energy, which is essentially fat. And when you have low insulin levels, you burn fat for energy, hence the energy and fat being the same thing in this scenario here. You'll notice that some people have talked about intermittent fasting. Now, that's something that I've done in the past, and I've had some success from it. But I didn't find that for me it was something that was sustainable, because it ties into what we were saying earlier, that when you have things that are sugary, high in fats, things that can essentially turn into sugar or glucose, that is the problem, because the liver can only deal with one job at a time. And that's what we said last week with the alcohol. And it's the same with sugary foods and snacky foods that aren't rich in different proteins and different vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your body needs. If you're putting sugar into your body and these high fatty, but the bad fats of snacks into your body, your liver is going to pause any sort of fat burning for that, because it's dealing with all the glucose and sugars that come into it. Now, you might think that some of the snacks that you have don't have these sugars and glucoses in, but believe me, they really do. And that's what adds up. And it's essentially, that's why it works so hand in hand with alcohol, because alcohol turns into sugar inside your body because it has lots of sugar in it, and so does your snacks and all the other sugary beverages and things that you're eating with it. What you essentially want to do is you want to try and keep your insulin levels as low as possible, but you can never stop insulin. That will never stop. You've always got insulin there. It's just you might not have as much as what you could have. If you eat sugary things, insulin spikes right up, and what it does, essentially, it's like when you get overworked at work. You may have loads of jobs given to do, and you think, right, I'll side them for now because I'll deal with one thing at once so I can cope. And that's exactly how the liver is. And anything else that comes in from the sugar, glucose, and all these other things, it gets stored into cells. And them cells then spill over because your liver can't deal with it, and you get fat. And that's what's happened to me. And I just found it very interesting, because, you need to be calorie deficit to lose weight and to burn fat. But if you're adding sugar, alcohol, and all these different things into the equation, you're essentially nullifying the calorie deficit. So you're not going to be burning fat. So then weeks where you think, do you know what, I did really well this week. I only had 1,000 calories. Now, if your baseline is 2,000 calories, technically you should be burning fat. But if you're adding sugars into that, if you're adding alcohol into that, it stops. And like we said, it can be up to 48 hours. So 2 days of fat burning that you don't have, then your liver has to reset and start again. What I've done this week, the reason why for me explaining that is, number one, for you to have an understanding that I gained from it, which was really helpful to me, but also that you can understand where things may not be working. Because losing weight is difficult. And for anybody who's watching this video, clearly they are on this journey of weight loss, be it from jabs or other dietary methods. We want to lose weight, and it's very difficult to do that. Or, more importantly, lose fat. Just to kind of summarize what we've just said there, when insulin spikes up, it basically tells the liver that we've got fuel coming in, and it knows that there's probably too much fuel coming in. So the liver thinks, right, okay, we're not going to burn any fat, we're just going to store it all for later because we've got a surplus of what we don't need. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have snacks, and it doesn't mean that you can't have alcohol. All it does mean is the frequency of what you do it at depends on how high you're going to push this insulin up. And if you're pushing the insulin up, you're essentially reducing the effects of the fat burn. So that's the summary of insulin and the liver. I don't want to push it anymore, but I just wanted to clear up just them few things so you had this understanding that I have. And if you know more about it than I do, please put it in the comment section below, because I'm learning along with you. It's just this information that I've researched, I thought was quite fascinating, and it's something I'm going to put into practice for next week. So that takes us nicely into this week and the changes that I've made, because I did say at the start of this video, I felt things were changing and things were different for a good way. And that was because I've had zero alcohol. I've had very few snacks, very few. I have had some. And moving into next week, I'm going to try and reduce it to zero snacks, zero alcohol, and see if I have a similar result or better result, providing that I have had a result on the scales. And that now brings me to the weigh-in. Let me step on the scales, let's see what the numbers say, and let's have a little chat about it. Sweet. So I can't lie, I did kind of expect that to be the case. A 7 pounds loss, and if you're in the UK, that is half a stone loss in 1 week. And the reason why I say I expected that was because the research that I made, it just made sense to me. And I thought, right, I'll put into practice what I've learned. So this next bit of things that I've learned, I'm going to put into practice for next week. And clearly, willpower alone and the jab alone isn't going to do all this. You've got to put into practice things that you find out and that you learn along the way. And that's what I'm going to do. So like I said earlier, I'm going to make sure that this week, no alcohol, no snacks, once again, no takeaways. I'm going to try and eat as clean as I can. And I'm hoping that I'm going to have another good result like this. And if I do, then clearly the new information and knowledge that I've got is, one, worth it, and two, it works. And that's what I want for everyone else that is watching this video today too. So if you are on a similar journey, or you are on Mounjaro, or any type of weight loss journey that you're on, if any of this information that you have found useful in this video, please make sure that you're subscribed, because I'm going to, going forward, make sure that I have more content like this where I explain the technical medical things in a very simple way that anyone can understand and that we can all put into practice. And if it's something that you do like me doing, please give it a like. Please let me know other things that you've tried that you've noticed that have helped you, because I think that it's great that it's all right that I'm giving you this information that I found out, but you also telling me things also helps me too, and I really do appreciate your help with that. Another thing, there has been some people that have been asking me what proteins that I drink, what type of scales that I use to weigh myself in, because I take in a lot more water now because I'm trying to flush out a lot of the old toxins and things like that. There's a bottle that I bought a while back and it's a really good one. It keeps your water cold for a very long time. So what I've done is I've just put the links down below. Then just 3 things that I personally use every single day, and if you want to get them as well, you can use them links down below. A final thought for you. This week has reminded me that it isn't just about the willpower. It isn't just about trying harder. It's about giving my body the right signals so it can run effectively, it can run efficiently, and hopefully it can be constantly burning fat and I can lose weight. I'm seeing a massive difference within myself. I hope you're seeing a massive difference within yourself, and I look forward to seeing you next week.